What do you get when you put road racers, dirt trackers, and motocrossers together to compete on a unique track that combines pavement and dirt? You call it Supermoto. And in this show, we'll introduce you to the AMA Supermoto series, take you back in time to how last season played out, and give you some insight into what's to come and more. It's time for the AMA Supermoto National Championship Series 2016 pre-race show. So hold on.
Hello and welcome to the AMA Supermoto National Championship Series 2016 preview show. I'm Greg, coming at you from MCC, motorcycle dealership in Villa Park, Illinois. Now Supermoto, it's a hybrid racing that brings many different disciplines into one. And in this show, we'll introduce you to reigning champions. We'll tell you what a Supermoto bike is all about and so much more. But before we get any further, here's Matt Stewart from the AMA Supermoto National Series to answer the question, what is Supermoto?
Supermoto is basically motorcycle racing. It's a combination of asphalt and dirt. It's real exciting. You get high speeds like road racing on the asphalt, and then you got big triples and double jumps like supercross and motocross. So it really combines the two to make a really exciting form of motorcycle racing.
Before we get into our look at 2015, how about a history lesson on the roots of Supermoto? The sport's been around since the 1970s in the made-for-ABC's Wide World of Sports TV series. Back then it was called Superbikers. Here's more.
Superbikers started as a naive conversation between race pioneer Gavin Tripp and executives at ABC's Wide World of Sports. When they asked Tripp, why can't Kenny Roberts race against Roger DeCoster? When it was explained that those stars raced different disciplines of racing, ABC responded with, well, it would be great to get them all to race together. Tripp put his head down and came up with the concept of half dirt, half asphalt, and Superbikers was born. It went on for years as a one-off annual gathering of the world's best motorcycle racers. But like all things, it eventually ended. However, the sport would make a comeback, but this time be known as Supermoto, giving everyone from retired racers to up-and-coming stars a chance to prove who has the most all-around motorcycle racing skill.
Well, now you know how we got here and you had a good look at the old equipment used. We fast forward to the now, where motocross bikes are the weapon of choice, but with some mods. Here's Open Pro racer Eric Stump with the scoop.
Hey, I'm Eric Stump, number 77. I race for Rydersmith Racing, and today we're going to go over the standard Supermoto setup. First and foremost, you got to start with the wheels and tires. You can ride with stock brakes at first so you get used to it and get the feel for it, then you get more trick stuff, but it's a street wheels and tires on them. We're running the Metzler tires because they're really just the best on the market right now. And the rear is typically, well, is always a 17-inch rear. As far as the front, you can run either 17 or a 16.5. We run the 16.5 because it's a lot better for the geometry of the setup. Really sets the front a little lower and helps you turn quicker. So we're running the standard Behringer Supermoto front brake setup. You definitely need a good set of brakes for all the heavy braking on the asphalt and pavement. So what we have is an oversized front rotor, as well as a 6-piston caliper, and it keeps the brakes a lot cooler than a stock setup usually would. But as you're starting off, at first just getting into the sport, you don't really need all the oversized stuff, just to feel it out and kind of get your feet wet, but it's definitely crucial to have the farther you progress. As you get more advanced, you'll find that a different rake in the front end will help with the geometry and how well it handles. It'll turn a lot quicker when you shorten the bike and bring the front under you a little bit. So these are an aftermarket offset triple tree, and Then of course we have Race Tech setting up the best Supermoto suspension right now, and they got these bikes dialed in. They'll revalve them with the Gold Valve series, also with the Gold Valve revalved shock and a heavier spring. The more aggressive you ride, the stiffer suspension you're gonna need, and yeah, you'll find that out the quicker you get. Other than that, I'm Eric Stump, and yeah, that's basic Supermoto setup.
Now that you know more about the equipment, how about a look at the classes raced?
For the AMA Supermoto Series, there's 3 classes. You have Amateur National, which is just as it sounds, it's amateur riders competing on a national level. They'll travel around the country and compete for a national championship. And then from there you would move into Pro Lights, which is a pro class with a 250cc or below motor, so it's not quite as powerful as some of the open bikes. It's a good stepping stone though. And then once you reach the top level, you go to Pro Open. The Pro Open is just as it sounds. It's an open class with pro riders. Open meaning there's no displacement rules on the motor, so you can run as big of a motor you want. You can run any modifications you want. So that's where you'll see, what we like to think are the stars of Supermoto. So your premier riders would be in that class.
Thanks, Matt. Now a quick look at the 2015 season. When and where did we go? Well, it looks like this. With 8 championship rounds spanning April to November, we went coast to coast. We had stops in New Hampshire, South Dakota, Colorado, with the finale in Tucson, Arizona. But we start with highlights from round 1.
Heading into the first round of last season, many thought that the reigning #1 plate in the Open Pro class, Gage McAllister, would be the favorite. Well, at Adams Motorsports Park in Southern California, he didn't disappoint. But not until Dustin Hoffman got the whole shot and crashed on lap 1, leaving the champ to dominate. Second place was Yamaha Mountain 2005 Supermoto champ Mickey Diamond getting it done. From last to 5th goes the Hoff. The surprise was Eric Stump languishing in 7th. His season would get better. In Pro Lights, number 41 Nicky Reimer on the Husqvarna would take it over 77 Stump. The late Michael Corbino 6th in his only race of the year, just ahead of Kenny Troxel. Round 2, Road America. McAllister captured his 2nd of the year, but not without a fight from the Win It or Bin It Hoffman, who challenged for first, crashed early again. Eric Stump on the box, the Hoff recovered to 4th. The points gauge is perfect, while Stump, the Hoff, and others start climbing. In Pro Lights, it was Bakersfield, California's Josh Jackson on the Yamaha edging out round 1 winner Reimer for the victory. The tally shows us only 4 between the 2 West Coast riders. Onto the longest track, round 3, we stopped in Loudon, New Hampshire at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the same track NASCAR races on. We used some of that track and a long but cool dirt section. But no matter how hard anyone tried, they were no match, yet again, for number 1, Gage McAllister. Hoffman, under orders from his RSR team to keep it on 2 wheels, gets his first podium of 2015. Points? Perfect for Gage. Hoffman moves into 3rd with the absence of Diamond for this one. Manford, Oklahoma resident Kenny Troxel took this one from Reimer, with fellow Oklahoma racer Wyatt Sperry rounding out the podium. No Jackson in this one, he was at a wedding. His. Moving on to round 4 and round 5, the series landed in Denver, Colorado, which is on the only NASCAR short track Supermoto visits in 2015. Add huge jumps and around 10,000 fans cheering on the field, and you have 2 exciting days of racing. In the Open Pro class, putting on a clinic, Gage McAllister. He won both days and reaped the reward of maximum points and the badge of undefeated. But for Dustin Hoffman, he's really finding his rhythm after a rough start to the season, as he and Eric Stump swap podium spots for both days. However, the points show a wash for both. Things were not so cut and dry in the Pro Lights class, as Josh Jackson and Nicky Reimer would go fender to tailpipe for both days. But despite the efforts of Jackson, it was Reimer who would do the double. Those wins elevated his standings on the leaderboard, as Reimer would leave the Rocky Mountain State with 31 in hand over Troxel, 32 over Jackson. Miller Motorsports Park was the 5th stop and 6th points-paying round, and for Gage McAllister, it was business as usual. But for 3rd in points, Dustin Hoffman, while he was passing Stump for 2nd, he high-sided, shattered his wrist, taking him out of the championship. He still scored points to keep him in the mix, but he would soon find out he was done. In Pro Lights, it was the old Reimer-Jackson slugfest, with the Central California rider getting the best of his SoCal competitor. Jackson leapfrogs Troxel to grab the number 2 spot, but only got back a few on the 41. The penultimate stop of the tour raced up Sturgis, South Dakota, and the biggest chatter in this one, Gage McAllister, whose brakes went out on lap 1. Banjo bolt packed out, they say. That allowed number 109 Sean Butterman to get the surprise victory. Wasn't easy for Butterman, as Mickey Diamond kept him honest. Good job for Butterman, who back in December 2014 broke both wrists and used 2015 to get healthy. Stump wasn't able to maximize on McAllister's misfortune. He was 4th, with not much changing on this list as far as the points goes. But in the next one, a non-start from Gage and a win from Stumpy keeps his hopes alive for the season finale. In Pro Lights, Butterman chased Nicky Reimer, but he couldn't keep the would-be champ behind him. Jackson losing ground in the chase for the number 1, finishing 4th. And that was all she wrote for Pro Lights, as Nicky Reimer has 38 going to Tucson. He wraps up the national championship. The finale in Tucson at Muscleman Honda, and after losing his chance at a perfect season, number 1 would show no mercy and win the race and win it all. In Pro Lights, that was the best race of the year. Those 250s, well, Jeremy Toy hadn't raced all year, and when he showed up, he was fast. But even with close racing, he was no match for the reigning champ Reimer and the 424 of Jackson. Behind Toy, series regulars Tossin and Troxel. That would set 3rd and 4th in the final points tally.
Well, that sets the stage for the 2016 championship, where we'll have some select events airing on MAV TV and some venue changes. Because we know you want to come out and watch, we now welcome in the Chief of Operations for the AMA Supermoto National Championship Series, Matt Stewart. Hey, Matt, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, Greg. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Yakking about motorcycles is always fun. So let's talk 2016. Start us off with the simple stuff. Where are we headed this year?
Well, we're bringing back some successful venues and adding in some new ones. Season starts off at the new Kern County Raceway Park in Bakersfield, California. After round 1, we head back to New Hampshire. 2015 was our first time in New Hampshire for AMA Supermoto. From there, we go to the tight streets of Sturgis, so completely opposite from New Hampshire. Street race through downtown Sturgis on Main Street. Round 4, we take off to Canada, and we race just outside of Montreal with World Rallycross. First time we've ever done anything like that, so going north of the border is going to be super exciting. It's going to be a new venue for us, like I said. September 3rd, we head to Colorado National Speedway, back to NASCAR facility, another fairly tight track, lots of big jumps, which the fans really like. October, we head to Tucson, Arizona for the season finale. Championships are going to be crowned. You know, you go there, you leave everything on the table, and hope you come out with a crown.
Now let's talk riders for 2016. In the Open Pro Class, Gage McAllister wears the number 1 plate for the 2nd year in a row. How is the field shaping up to go after McAllister?
I mean, Gage is strong. He's won the last 2 years in a row, but everybody else is getting faster, really. I mean, Stump's getting better. Mickey's going to be around more. Mickey's hungry to win. Dustin Hoffman's, I guess you can say, maturing more. You know, I think we're going to see him less on the ground this year, but still have that same amount of speed. So it's going to be good, you know, and who knows, you know, there could be a wild card in the mix with Butterman or, you know, even Sam Knox, somebody like that coming up there and trying to win some races.
Well, Gage does have a bullseye on his back, and he's facing some new challenges for 2016.
This year is really exciting because I'll be on a brand new race team and a brand new different brand motorcycle. So there's some new challenges to take on, and we'll be going to some different venues for our races. So new tracks are always fun, and learning to ride a new manufacturer of motorcycle will be really cool.
So Gage is in for it for sure, but let's shift gears to the Pro Lights class. What's new for us to look out for in that championship?
Nicky Reimer's still there. He's still going to be a contender. He'll be wearing the number 1 plate. But you also have Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson has been training all off-season. I've never seen the guy put in so much work. So he's going to have, in my opinion, his best legitimate shot at a championship. So I'm sure we'll see more of those guys battling. There's You also have guys like Ian Chapness, a young kid out of Nevada, who you know, he could throw a wrench in it and win some races. You know, the kid's got speed, he's got talent, he's got a good family behind him, he's got a good bike. So it's definitely probably going to be some good races there.
All right, for Pro Lights class champ Nicky Reimer, well, he's just excited about what 2016 has to offer.
2016 has a lot of hype. I mean, we have some new venues. We're going to Canada this year. It'll be pretty cool to travel out of the country. Now that MAV TV is televising a few of the races, I think it could be really good for Supermoto, get the name back out there.
All right, that's Nicky. But Matt, why is Supermoto so cool to see in person?
I mean, really, it depends on the venue. Everywhere we go is unique and offers something special. For example, Sturgis, South Dakota, we're going down the street one way, you know, in fifth gear, just going as fast as the bike will go. And in the other direction, we're jumping triple jumps, you know, jumping 60 feet, you know, through the air. So it's definitely diverse. You know, you go to New Hampshire and it's super long road race style track. You go to, say, Denver, Colorado, and you're in a stadium-like atmosphere, you know, at a short track NASCAR track where we come in and we put a temporary track in there. So definitely a lot of diversity through the series and lots of excitement to offer.
All right, Matt, thanks for your time, and I will see you at the races. Well, it's going to wrap things up here on this show. Thanks to MCC in Villa Park, Illinois, for allowing us to invade their space. Look, you want to know what's going on with the AMA Supermoto National Championship Series all year long? It's easy. Go visit their website and bookmark it, amanationalsupermoto.com. We'll let you know when the TV shows are going to be airing on MAV TV. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all year long for the 2016 AMA Supermoto National Championship.
The difference between road racing and Supermoto? Well, first off, Supermoto is way gnarlier.